We arrived in Edinburgh, capital of Scotland, on July 1st for a long-delayed, pandemic-postponed vacation, or as they say in Great Britain, holiday. It's been on our list for a long time due to its history and well-preserved medieval architecture. But we did not know that it's also Royal Week, and the King and Queen are here. Newly crowned King Charles of England is also King of Scotland. Therefore, on July 5th, he will receive the honours of Scotland in a Scottish coronation with all the hoopla surrounding it. The celebration takes place along the Royal Mile, the heart of Edinburgh's old city. Anchored by Holyrood Palace, the royal residence at one end, and the imposing Edinburgh Castle, high up on its cliff, at the other end. The royal procession will come up from the palace, the crown will come down from the castle, and they'll meet at St. Giles Cathedral, where the ceremony will take place. And our hotel's right on the Royal Mile. I planned that. We'll be able to step out our front door right into the parade. Lucky me, I brought my own beautiful queen with me. And just in case you're curious, it may be July, but it was cold. High temp around 60, windy and often overcast with clouds. We wore sweaters and long sleeves the whole time. I had to buy an extra sweater to wear under my sweater. And we got good use out of our raincoats also. The steeple of St. Giles Cathedral dominates the Royal Mile. It's meant to evoke the Scottish crown and dates from 1495. By the way, the man in the statue is Adam Smith, who wrote the fundamental primer of economics, The Wealth of Nations, back in 1776. It turned out the church was closed in preparation for the king's visit. But we got into St. Giles one late afternoon for a choral concert. Turns out it was the San Francisco Boys Choir, and no, they didn't play the big organ, but it was relaxing and we got to see the interior of the chapel. Looks pretty good for 600 years old, although a lot of it has been refurbished. This view looks at the back, and this view looks at the front. And this view looks at the front from all the way in the back. And this view looks at Judy. There she is. Hi, Judy. Here, I managed to get into the picture thanks to a friendly tourist. I'm keeping the king's seat warm for him. Speaking of the king, he's got a crown to accept, and he's been waiting for this for a long time.
Here we are awaiting King Charles to receive the honours of Scotland on the Royal Mile of Edinburgh.
Looking around, you can see the crowds.
I find that there's like the tropical, like relaxing vacations or like
Up and down the Royal Mile. We are lucky because we're staying at the Radisson and we just stepped out the front door and here we are.
I took French all through high school and
We're also lucky in that it's not raining.
just because it was
Choppers overhead. Policemen on the roof. We are blessed with a beautiful, albeit somewhat chilly, day. The crowd builds and the air crackles with anticipation as we await the royal procession. Although there are a lot of tourists in the crowd, it appears there are also a lot of native true believers. But not everybody welcomes the king. Judy snapped this poster, censored by me. And there were protesters outside the church, as shown on the BBC, but not in our vicinity. So, as the Brits would say, let the celebration commence. Listen to the crowd as the royal motorcade approaches. Wow, that was quick. Let's run that through again, a little slower. There's the king, waving to his loyal subjects. And you can just catch a glimpse of Princess Kate's electric blue dress. And I'm going to guess the van with the dark windows has his protection detail. Every king's got to have one. And now, let's go inside and watch it on BBC Scotland. I think William is telling Kate, "You look lovely, my dear." And she's saying to him, "You look quite dashing too, my prince." That's what Judy always says to me. And they all agree that Camilla looks quite bird-like with that big feather sticking out of her hat. How cool is this? We were just here a few days ago.
As the King is presented with the honours of Scotland, crown, sword and sceptre, symbolising his commitment to serve our nation with humility and compassion.
By the symbol of this sword, we pledge our loyalty, entrusting you to defend our laws and to uphold justice and peace in our land.
In receiving this sword, I so promise by God's help. By the symbol of this scepter, we pledge our loyalty, entrusting you to seek the prosperity of this nation, the Commonwealth, and the whole earth.
In receiving this scepter, I so promise by God's help.
By the symbol of this crown, we pledge our loyalty, entrusting that you reign as our King in the service of all your people.
In receiving this crown, I so promise by God's help.
Kind of disappointed they didn't put the crown on his head. But the party's not over yet. High above the city, at Edinburgh Castle, the big cannons will fire off a 21-gun salute to honor the new king. We're too far away to see it. But in another incredible stroke of luck, when we visited the castle several days prior, we saw the full dress rehearsal. Okay, we don't need to hear all 21 of them, but maybe a few more. Now watch this move. How's that for a right and proper celebration? Folks, it doesn't get any better than this. Now, back to the Royal Mile. The royal family's long since gone, but all those pipers, soldiers, and horses have to march back down to the Holyrood Palace. The funky leopard prints originated from soldiers who either came from or served in Africa. Now, they're used to support the straps from the big bass drums. Judy really liked them. And now it's time for the big finish. And that's it.
Our brief brush with royalty.
We couldn't have planned it better, even if we planned it, which we didn't.
A happy coincidence with our vacation.
Long live the king. For more of our adventures in Scotland, the UK, and all our other travel destinations, visit our website at happycoupletravels.com.